And we are back. You know what? This is the will of the Lord. This is the will of the Lord.
I just think so too. Right. Because we just can't escape it no matter what.
I don't understand. But guys, we are back. Branded Society back in the building. And
what
it
up?
seems like a new time of Fridays at 6 p.m.
Yes.
Right.
Until I can get this act together. But today we're going to be talking about what are your non-negotiables. Everyone in life should have the things that they really say, this defines me, this is what I'm about, this is my yes, and this is my no. You just can't be willy-nilly out there in these streets. And the same goes for your business and building a brand. Yes, you have to change, like we had our show last week. Yes, you do have to move and be able to flow with the demands of your industry, the sign of the times. But that doesn't mean you have to do everything and anything that comes your way. So we want to talk about and explore what are your non-negotiables. So before we get all the ways into it, we're going to have, yes, the other two components of this wonderful trio introduce themselves, and we're going out of order. So all the way to my far right.
What up? It's your boy, Leah Jetta, artist of Freedom Vibes, motivator, coach. Let's get it. Holla at your boy. Your turn, Tiff.
What up, y'all? It's your girl Tiffy G of At Beauty. I'm an online beauty supply store, Black owned and operated. I got what you need. Right. Beauty is covered here.
Holla.
I love it. I love it. And I am, unlike my name below, I am Kimberly Marissa for KM Styles. You know what? This is obviously not a non-negotiable. Being pre-recorded and me getting my company's proper name at the below. So that all has to be fixed. But I have a subscription company called KM Style Inc., which will be launching in August. Crossing my fingers, dotting my I's, and crossing my T's. And yes, we're about to get into it, guys, today. So first, how's everybody feeling? It's Friday and it's summer.
Right. That's right.
I'm all right. I could be better, y'all. I'm gonna be honest. I can be better. So we push through, guys. We push through those things. So
that's right. It's the real.
Bear with me if I'm not as I usually am.
It's all gravy.
I think we actually are being not live.
Let's just keep going.
Yeah, just forget about that part.
Right.
As they both know, I can fixate on things until I know.
You're gonna be like, are we? Are we throughout the whole story?
Right. I think we're not, guys. Like we are.
Did anybody? Is anybody showing up like as viewing?
No, it's not on my thing.
Okay.
But anyway, well, you know what? Even when we are not feeling our best or there's a lot going on in life, we are, again, living what we stand for as Branded Society. That's one of our non-negotiables. We still show up. We are still showing up within reason. We are still showing up.
Yeah.
So I am very proud of all of us for being able to do that because life is happening. So let's get into it. First question. Let's get into this because I think this is a very juicy topic. What are you going to say no to? You know, just like people, companies, or brands, it is known for its convictions. And so it's not just about what we're going to say no to, but also what we'll say yes to. So let's get into what is your no. So I want to start. For me, I will say for KM Style, the things that are non-negotiable in terms of my no's are the fact that I don't want to become a company chasing the dollar regardless of quality.
Right.
Within my industry, I am a reseller, and even the subscription company, as I've shared before, 70% of the items are pre-loved. And I love that model because I do believe that our planet is filled with unnecessary waste, and we are a highly consumerized society. And I want to do my part in trying to keep those things out of the landfills as long as possible.
Mhm.
So one of the no's for my company is the fact that even though I can buy anything and put anything in my store, and there are people who are resellers that they will buy anything because the margins in my industry are quite high. You'll
Mhm.
almost always make a buck. I refuse to just buy anything that can make a buck. I still have a standard of quality. I still have a standard of just, it has to be on trend. It has to be something that I feel people are still going to find desirable, regardless if it's current season or a classic. And
Mhm.
so those are one of the non-negotiables for KM Style. You will not come to our store and just find anything in the store.
Mhm.
Another non-negotiable for KM Style, another no on my no list, is the fact that I don't think Tiffy G or Learjet are aware of this. I'm very strongly opposed to actually making my people work on Sunday or Saturday.
Mhm.
I want to be a company that we operate with people Monday through Friday. It
Mhm.
will be a 24-hour business, but I want to keep that to automation within as much as possible. That is something I would like to have as our non-negotiable. I believe that even though we are 24/7 with technology, I think that isn't healthy for people.
Yeah.
I think people like having their weekends, even if a lot is going on. They like to have days that are back to back that they can have
Mhm.
off. And so I want to bring that kind of quality to whomever I'm employing. That you don't have to have a Monday off and a Thursday off. You
Mhm.
can have two back-to-back days, and they can be the weekend because some people do observe the Sabbath. Some people do observe going to church, and some
Mhm.
people also, regardless if they don't observe those things, you working on the weekends, I have learned, is not always conducive because so many people still have weekends off. So it's like you're working, everyone else is off, and we already know during summertime at jobs, that's when people start calling out.
Yeah.
They want to chill, they want to go to barbecues, they want to go to the beach, they want to take vacations, and it doesn't work. So that's one of my no's. And I'll give you a third no for my company. A third note for my company is the fact that I refuse to cut corners in terms of
Mhm.
the quality of the service we're going to provide and just the aesthetic.
Mhm.
What I mean by that is, again, within my industry, there are people who do what I do and they don't see the need to tissue paper anything. They don't
Yeah.
see the need to brand. I'm
Mhm.
actually going out the box to do that. They don't see the need because they're like, the people are going to buy it anyway. I refused from jump. I just knew I wanted to establish myself as a brand as well as right out the gate establish the fact that we're going to provide a presentation that
Mhm.
we may not make every dollar on the presentation, but we think we're going to make a lasting impression. And so that
Right.
for us is a non-negotiable. We will tissue paper things because when I go to Chanel, I like the fact that my things are tissue paper. I
Mhm.
want to give that to my customers to experience that level of quality, even if they're buying something that's pre-loved and it comes from Zara.
Mhm.
So those are my no's for my company.
Mhm.
My yeses now, because you have both, my non-negotiables is that we definitely always will go for the best price point, not necessarily the highest price point we can get.
Mhm.
I want the items that I sell to be competitive, but I don't want to get and squeeze every dollar out of it. The whole point of me doing it is because I want people to experience maybe getting a brand
Mhm.
that they may not have been able to get on the Real Real because the Real Real is still going to charge them for that. I sold recently a handbag. It was brand new and it was from YSL. And I could have charged, $500. And that still would have been a markdown, a significant markdown. It was brand new.
Mhm.
I did not. I decided to charge 300 because I got it at a great deal. I wanted to give back a great deal.
Mhm.
And that's part of the yeses. We always, as a company, I want to always say yes to what is the best deal I can give to my customer. I'll give you one other yes. Another yes for my company, Cam Style, is the fact that I really do want to care about the quality of pay I can give to my employees. That's very, very, very important. As a company, you will grow into this. You know, there's just like in your life, as a company, you will not always start out how much you can pay, is how much you can pay later on. But I'm a big proponent for paying the most you can to one person as opposed to getting three people and paying them all less. That's how I try to run. And so that's one of the yeses. We are going to try very much as Cam Style to always pay the best we can and do with a less person as opposed to caring about the bodies. I need all the bodies. So that's for Cam Style. So whoever wants to jump in, what are some of they don't have to be the same amount of things I gave, or it could be more. But what are some of the yeses for your company that you're like, nah, this is what we stand for, this is what we're aiming for, and what are some of the no's? You're like, nah, we ain't budging. We're gonna do this.
I'll go. For At Beauty, it's some of what you said, honestly, on the yes end of just providing a standard of quality when I'm shipping out my items, specifically my brand items. You know, indie, as some of y'all might know, it's called indie brand. Sorry, guys. So yeah, just making sure, like I said, I'm really trying to get down my branding with that, because I have sent out things and, you know, they weren't packaged with my labeling, with my branding on it. And honestly, I felt a ways about that, you know, within my company, because that's not how I want to represent myself, similar to what Kimberly said. Yes, Landon. No. I'm live. So yeah, guys. So yeah, branding, whatever's going out, just making sure everything is quality, everything is efficient in the way I've envisioned it, to provide that well-rounded service, you know, that carries from the website actually to people's homes. So that's really, you know, that's really important, because I expect that as a consumer. When I purchase something online, I want it to come to me and be representative of how the aesthetic of the website looked and all the things. You want the whole experience. So that's really important. A non-negotiable for me, no offense, guys, I have a no return policy. And it's for various reasons, honestly. Within the beauty industry, as you'll know, hyperallergenically, you know, just it's really sound to just, if you buy, be sure about your purchase. If for whatever reason you're not satisfied with the purchase, give it to a friend. Or you can resell it or do whatever you need to do. But, you know, just also the retention of sales for that product, because I intend within At Beauty to actually house other indie brands. And it's very critical for unestablished brands to make money if there's a lot of returns on their items, or, you know, there's a lot of, you know, put back things that, you know, when it comes to the numbers, that actually means a lot. So At Beauty has a no return policy. The non-negotiable also within At Beauty is, like I said, I don't want to just house mainstay brands like the L'Oreals, the Macs, these, all the brands. I want to really be representative, because I'm an indie brand that's trying to develop my name and build myself. I really want to hone in on honestly housing a lot of particularly Black-owned beauty brands and indie brands, because I think that is the evolution for the beauty industry. You know, the people that have the names, that's great. They might be here 10, 12 years from now, and that's great. But we need new voices, we need new images, we need new talents to be showcased. That's really important. I feel like a lot of people aren't doing that. You know, like Kim said, they get the numbers from representing, we feel comfortable in things that we're familiar with. So you'll go and get, like I said, the brands that you know you can find everywhere, because you see the commercials, you see the push for it, even on social media. But I really want to represent the silent beauties, the people that are out here giving the same quality, even better sometimes. They need to be represented. They need to have a spotlight. So At Beauty is really about that. That's a non-negotiable. I will definitely be housing predominantly indie brands, Black-owned beauty brands within my store.
I love that. I love all of what you just said.
Right.
I love it. I actually even learned things. I didn't know some of those things.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. I love it. This is right. This is what honestly would be awesome if, like, even some of the big brands, they should do what we're doing, because this is so informative for the customer to actually understand pricing, why
Yeah.
you're choosing to price things a certain way, why certain things are and are not. You know,
Yeah.
it's awesome. I love it. How
Yeah.
about you, Learjetta?
Well, being like with me, a lot of my stuff is because I'm a musician and
Mm-hmm.
also, ministry, life coaching as well. I do a lot of speaking. So, like
Mm-hmm.
you guys, I'm focused on whatever I talk about, whether it's music or whether it has to be a certain quality
Mm-hmm.
because I have a certain goal in mind to help people to build up in a certain way. So I refuse, no, for me is I'm not going to do anything outside of that. And it's not that I can't step outside the box. It's like
Mm-hmm.
you you meet a lot of people whose version is not only different, it's not really pushing that thing that you're trying to push. So for me it's no. And I love how you said about even quality. Like I don't just want to be like, oh, this check look good, let me do this. Or even some opportunities may look good, but you might have to say nah, because
Yeah.
you trying to do it for a certain reason could be the very reason now you taint your brand because people are like, oh, okay, I thought such and such and such. You know what I mean? So for me, as far as quality, it's the same. It's the same field. Like I want my stuff to be quality, whether I'm doing music,
Yeah.
or whether I'm talking to people about this. I want my message to either bring life, and anything outside of that, I don't want to do it. Because it's going against what I stand for. I don't want to be like hypocritical.
Mm-hmm.
Um, uh, a yes for me is I would say always staying on top of and working with people who are in that place who are going to help to bring about quality things. Because I feel like y'all guys talking about the beauty industry. I want stuff that's going to last. Like when you hit classic, I'll give an example, classic hip hop
Mm-hmm.
and stuff like that. We still listening to songs from years and years and
Yeah.
years ago
Definitely.
versus the quick trendy that's like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, that sounds nice,
Right.
okay. And then it disappears within the
Right.
next year. It's not even a thing no more. So I want whatever I put on the table, whether it be music, whether I'm speaking, when you can go back to that mug and you like, yo, I remember he said that was crazy. So for me, it's just like all same thing as you guys, quality and
Yeah.
not negotiating on, not compromising that quality, if I make any sense. So
No.
that's
Yeah.
for
That
me,
makes perfect sense.
the yes and always quality and not jumping at stuff just because stuff sounds good. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Because it's easy to do so. Like, oh, the money, let me do this. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I love what you said as well, because that actually leads us into a second question. And because what I got from both of what you guys were saying was you're going to focus on things that are not gimmicky.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's
And real
very.
quick,
Mhm.
like Tiff said, the branding. I always want when it's stamped with Learjetta, you know what you're getting.
Yes.
Right.
That's how it should. That's how it should be for a brand, is that they know exactly what they're getting.
Right.
Yeah.
Because a lot of artists, as well as just even entrepreneurs, fall into following
Yes.
everything that is hot, and it
Yes.
may get your engine running, but it's
Mm-hmm.
not sustainable, because then you become a one-hit wonder. You become a gimmick.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's like you just said, Learjetta, they don't know what they're getting.
Right.
You
It's
know,
no face. It's
yeah,
not
Right.
even a personal face
It's like,
either.
oh,
It's just,
this purple shirt is hot for the moment. And then
mhm,
right.
when the purple shirt is gone, you have nothing else. That's it.
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah. Like, who are you when the purple shirt is gone?
Right.
You know.
Right.
This is
So,
true.
Right. It's a wrap.
yeah.
This is very true. So that brings us perfectly, honestly, into our second question, which is, there's a balance, though, really, that has to be struck. And that
Mm-hmm.
balance is that every industry has an array of standard business practices.
Mm-hmm.
But how do you balance between what, when you're building your business, building your brand, you stay unique, but then you also are competitive? Because you have to know, I think it's important for you, all of us, to understand what is business practice, standard business practice, and
Mm-hmm.
what is then the things that, yes, you will stand as your convictions of. Everyone else may not be doing this as a yes or a no, but I'm
Mm-hmm.
going to do it. So
Right.
I'm
Mm-hmm.
unique. So give us an idea of, like, how do you guys do that in your industries, in your specific, with your business and in your industry? How do you, what have you identified as one that's a specific business practice or practices that you have incorporated because you're like, I got to be competitive? But then you're like, it stops here because in this area, I'm not doing this, even though everyone else is doing it. And yeah, I see the money.
Yeah. Well, similar to what was just said about, you know, the brand identity end of it. But like I said, with my website, even the transition of how my website was before.
Yes.
I was a lot like the beginners and just let me get the website out, and there's really no structure to it. There was no form. And, you know, we spoke about like a child, you know, the baby's in utero and you can't see it, but now it's born and now you see it. You're able to now mold it a certain way and determine like, are they going to eat vegetables? Am I going to have them on meat? You know, so it's the same thing with my business. I saw it in the beginning stage. And then once it was birthed, I finally launched it. I realized, oh, I have to nourish this baby. I can't just leave it alone and let it be. I have to put things into it. I have to move things around. I have to feed it. I have to develop it into the way I truly envision it to be. So I was not conforming to, oh, well, I have a beauty website and guys, you know, just go there and, you know, I got some beauty stuff up. You know, I really wanted it to be separate from a lot of other girls in my industry on the same level that are doing the things I'm doing.
Right.
Also within that, what was I gonna say? I'm sorry, guys. My brain is so over.
No, listen, you're doing well. Keep it up.
But yeah, so that's the main thing. And you know, the integral part of that also is, you know, like I said, my shipping aspect and maintaining the integrity of that, just like the whole detailing, packaging of that, my non-return policy, just making sure that it is quality, so people don't want to return it. You know, when they buy things from At Beauty, they identify, oh no, this is quality, I won't be disappointed. Yes. Like I said, setting myself aside from other people, not just focusing on the glamour of it. Like I'm selling the, you know, this popping, you know, lip gloss or this popping eyeshadow. It's like, okay, I can do that as well. But now again, how do I separate myself from the herd? At Beauty, I'm encasing indie brand, which is my brand, in the mix of all of the other major brands. Because I do sell major brands. But it's the embodiment of, I ain't just gonna give you all that because I'm gonna show y'all that indie brands could be just as great as those same brands that y'all buying that have those popular labels on it. And a lot of it is structured and a lot of it is pushed out the same way, to be honest with you, the way they manufacture it, the components to making the things, you know, and the push is the name. But we all have to eventually get a name, and, you know, they built their name over time. And that's why I'm like so keen on representing names that aren't just established already in industry. Right. Because how do we get our voice? You know, like how, you know, if we don't present it and we don't show people like, yes, this is a great eyeshadow palette and this is by Beauty Glaze, which is, shout out to Beauty Glaze. I love you guys. Y'all big me up because I always tag them. But yeah, you know, again, they're an indie brand and they're popular amongst, you know, a small collective of people, but I think they're fantastic in terms of their pigmentation. I actually have crayon case on now, so super shout out to you because that's what I'm wearing now.
I love these eyes.
This is from her original palette. Again, she was an indie brand and eventually she popped, you know, so we're evolving. But again, what did she do? She set the mark. She decided to take a whole like school series and make it into a cosmetics line. Yes. And you think something that's small became so innovative. And now there's other popular brands that copy that very same aesthetic in their own way. So that's why I think it's really just important to represent indie brands and just your like infuse your identity within whatever you're doing, because you have to make a marker for that. And in turn, that's making a marker for you and other people. Right. So I think that's how I set it aside, you know. Right.
I feel you. I feel you. Do you want to jump in?
Yeah, likewise. I feel like when you mentioned like standard business practices, I feel like I'll do what I need to do as far as being an artist or speaking. But one thing I always do is try to maintain that uniqueness of why I'm me. I never want to dilute, like you said, myself. I feel like because you have to know what you're bringing to the table as well. So it's like when you look at Kanye West, like, right? So you got a lot of people who are like, but then he brought the dorky backpack kind of a deal to the table, but he was still fire. But his uniqueness, now when you look at the rest of them and you look at Kanye West, West is Kanye West now. Yes. but it's
Mhm.
because he was dope, but he
Mhm.
stuck to I'm Kanye. Like I'm gonna do
Yeah,
what
Mhm.
makes me me.
Mhm.
And
he's
so
another
he stuck to
Gemini,
the
bro.
right.
This is true. This is very true.
He stuck to the standard practices,
Yeah,
but he
Mhm.
knew I ain't gonna settle for the I'm just gonna be this rapper person. I'm gonna
yeah.
be
He
Kanye
always put
West.
Mhm.
Kanye in it. He always puts Kanye in it,
Right.
whether you
He's
like it
like,
or not.
I'm Kanye
Kanye is in
West.
it.
Right. And
Hmm.
so it's like he didn't just settle for I'm just gonna be another knockoff brand of this, or I'm gonna be a knockoff brand of that. I'm gonna show them, yeah, I'm gonna do the standard practices of what we do in this industry, but I'm
Mhm.
gonna show you
Yeah,
what makes Kanye West Kanye West. So I
Mhm.
you
feel
know he
like
had a beat for Jay,
right.
and he specifically with I forget which one it was because it's one of the ones that popped, and he thought to play it for Jay-Z, and he said, you know what? I'm gonna keep that for me. And people were like, no, you bugging, give that to Jay, he gonna murder that. And
Right.
again, he said, Kanye was like, no, I'm Kanye. I
Yes.
can
Mhm.
freak that.
Right.
Like I
Mhm.
would make that song pop and it'll sell, and it did. I forgot which
Right.
song it was, but
Right.
yeah,
And see, and that's the thing, like sometimes because sometimes it's easy for like you said, there you go, you did it perfect. Anybody come in, oh at beauty, nah, I think nah, you should. And you like, excuse me? No. And then that lip
yeah,
gloss or something you do wind up being some crazy something,
yeah,
but some people was like, nah, you shouldn't do that. So it's like
yeah,
he knew I'm Kanye. You know what I'm saying? And
Mhm.
sometimes even in the middle of something, you gotta know I am, okay, Marissa, I am at beauty,
Mhm.
I'm Legetta. So I feel like again, for me is I'm gonna keep the practices, but and trust me, in the industry I'm in, it can be like I'm the oddball because I'm like, yo, I'm bringing life. Like it's funny because
yeah.
this the show I just did. This is funny. Side note: when I got on
Mhm.
stage, after I had a conversation with some people I met there, it was like, yo, when you got up on stage, we thought you was gonna do some old 50 cents real gutter joint, and then your song come on like new friend, I got a new. We like, huh? And they was like, yo, the joint was dope, but they was like, your image, it just looked
Mhm.
so left field. And I was
Yeah.
cracking up because
Mhm.
why? Even though you got a certain, I still keep that look about myself, but I'm like, nah, I'm gonna show you why I'm me. I'm gonna do
Mhm.
this. You know what I'm saying? So it was just funny. It was hilarious because perceptions and things, but it was interesting. It was
I think
cool.
that's awesome. I think that's
Mhm.
Yeah.
awesome. And I mean, yes, I it's on his page and we have to get clips from both of them.
Yes.
Because I did see he posted clips and I did see it. I know my bro for a very long time. Decades, honestly. Known him for decades. And yeah, he is the music is all about life and God and inspiration and ministry. But
Hmm.
yeah, he has not lost his street, and it's not fake. He's very hood, very street, in the good way. But
Listen,
the
Yeah.
B no, seriously though, because that was something that honestly that was a challenge for me because I'm
Mhm,
like the honest challenge for me because most people say, okay, here goes Leah Jetta, like you girls are talking about beauties, okay, this guy right here. So for me, it's kind of like when I chilled out for music for a second, it was because I was trying to figure how can I use this message now, and it
mhm,
was a tough space because here I am in a different space in life, surrounding myself with new people.
mhm.
So in that journey, I also found people who feel like you should do it like this, and I'm like, that's not
Oh
quite me,
yeah.
bro. Like I can't do that. That's just not me. And I had
Hmm.
people who actually had a problem with that
Mhm,
because of it. It's like, oh, what you supposed to be Bookie in the suit, and I'm like, no, I'm gonna wear this fitted, and I'm gonna do this like
yeah.
this, and I'm gonna be myself. You know what I'm
Mhm,
saying? And that's why I
yeah.
felt like I changed, and now I feel like my message is better now because of it.
Mhm,
So now I got more to talk about from both sides of the fence, and
mhm.
now I can make
Yeah.
it a message relatable. But no, like you say, I guess this funny. This segment don't water yourself down. Know what you
Yeah.
got. Know who you are.
Yeah.
I love that. I think what I really see, we haven't spoke about it, but what is really coming through is the thing that we need to address about how to be competitive
Hmm.
and also standard business practice
Yeah.
is you have to be honest with you.
Hmm.
Hmm.
And what I mean by that is for my cam style,
Hmm.
standard business practices are that there are certain aesthetic and what I mean by aesthetic is certain level of quality that people now just are custom and that is you don't want that to be a hindrance.
Yes.
So like Tiffy G said, we both are in our, building website journey, which is a journey. And in that, I was very adamant that I've done the thing in the past, like many years ago. You know, I've tried my hand at, like many people, I tried my hand at, doing blogs. So, blogger.com. And I did a long time ago have a GoDaddy. And it was not for what my current business is, but, I'm a serial entrepreneur. So there's always been that I've been doing. But the reason I bring that up is because this time around, I'm like Learjetta, he's alluding to, you get to a certain point, and that's why many entrepreneurs, they're serial, because it's not your first go at it.
No,
you become seasoned. And when you become seasoned, then you understand, certain standard business practice has to do with a certain level of quality that you're going to provide. That is just industry standard. So the quality of the visuals we're going to provide to reflect our brand are going to be the highest possible that we can provide, and will continue to grow in quality, because that is just, that's become standard business practice.
Yes. Yeah. And can I say something too? Like, you are always, whether you want to or not, you're always doing customer service.
Yes.
Whether you want to be or not, because your attitude is your customer service. Yes. Whether you're in beauty, whether you're in music, whether whatever it is, your way of doing things can make people be like, you know what? I'm cool on your brand. Your attitude is nasty. I'm good. Like, you are always doing it whether you want to or not.
Yes. And that's very true, because Tiffany and I had an incident this past weekend, where the person, the company that was being used, they were not following, to me, industry standard. You have a hall and you have a bathroom, you provide napkins in the bathroom, you provide paper towels in the bathroom, something where the person could dry their hands. They just had a hand blower and they thought that was enough. And when it was brought to their attention, their response was, well, we have the hand dryer. And it doesn't matter what you tell me about your uniqueness and but what matters is there's just certain things you should be providing within whatever industry. As an artist, no one cares about your music if you don't have a good sound check. Like how you're mixing down the final product matters. It doesn't matter about, you can't get to unique and brand until you just have a certain level of quality.
Right. And I'm quite even sure, like with Tiffany G, like when you think about skincare products too, or lip, like you like, nah, this lip gloss could be too thin or too thick. Like the little things you think about like that.
At the table with that.
Like it's like that, because you realizing if I put this lipstick too thin, that can affect your brand. Like, oh, people ain't gonna like that. Right. So it's like all of us. It's just crazy how like those little details, that's customer service. Like, dang, this is I can't put this out. You know what I mean? I got songs right now that I never put out because I felt like it didn't bring a certain thing to the table that I really wanted it to. And I've also been in places where the engineer was horrible, and I was like, I can't. This is not it. You know what I mean? So I've been in those, like you said, you gotta, nah, this is not it, or knowing what you want. So for me, I realized, like you said, I got to get quality engineers. Like, I understand Bookie down the street is saying, hey, listen, I got studio time for $15, but that's not for me. I'm sorry.
But like Ken's also saying, listen to your consumer.
Your consumer.
Because the way he reacted and responded wasn't, like we said, it's not.
Oh, no.
Oh, she froze.
The aliens, don't take her.
Y'all get on that, back. Huh?
You froze.
No, you froze real quick.
Oh, you're fine now.
Okay, yeah, you froze real quick.
Yeah, I said, don't let the aliens take her.
No, I was just agreeing with Kim. Like, the response, like she said, is the continuation of customer service doesn't stop because you have the customer's money.
Exactly.
We're there in the spot if they have questions, if they have concerns. Like they always say, the customer is always right, even though we know sometimes they're not, but still you have to carry that order of business, that appropriate order of business. So
and even like she said, well, even like person's like, oh, we got freaking hand blowers. It's like, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about your hand blowers. I'm telling you, there's no tissue here.
You should have options, like Kim said. It shouldn't just be that. Some people, they have adverse to heat or cold, so they might not want to put their hand in a dryer.
Right.
So you have to have the option.
Right.
And having options is one of the aspects, and having customer service is one. Those are all aspects of, what is part of, just like you guys are saying, standard business practice. But it all comes under the umbrella of, when you brought up Kanye West, and even when you brought up, the different makeup lines that were indie that now have exploded.
Right.
Yeah.
It really is. I want our viewers to really understand, when you're building a business, when you're building a brand, what makes you unique has to be aligned with excellence. Excellence should be your business practice.
Right.
Because there are many people who are musical artists, and they overinflate and overthink their own excellence, because they don't require excellence. Kanye West, regardless of what you say about him, the reason he can say, I'm going to hold that back, is because he's going to do everything to make that record perfection.
Yep. Yep.
Beyonce, same with Rihanna, same with, well, they fell off. I was going to say Johnson and Johnson, but they're giving people.
Frankie, don't get triggered, girl. She said, don't nobody bring me Johnson & Johnson at my baby shower.
But even Target, I will say, I have never so far been to any Target, and I've been to Targets in the hood, that have ever looked unkept.
Oh, that's a fact.
They may have had empty shelves. They may have been like, oh, I don't got nothing here.
Yeah.
Stock. But their floors are clean. Their place is bright. That is a certain level of excellence you're providing. You don't feel like, I don't get that level of excellence, even though it may be fully stocked from Family Dollar.
Right.
Yo, you know what's crazy? It's like,
no disrespect to Family
Dollar. Yeah, no, listen, and no disrespect too, but it's like, honestly, like, once you go into Chick-fil-A and you see their customer service, and then you go back to like anywhere else, you realize the rest of these fast food chains need to really step their game up. And you can kind of see why Chick-fil-A is not really considered fast food, but it's like what separates them for the rest of these guys. Like, once you go in there and get their service, and then you pull up somewhere else, you're like, I like Chick-fil-A better.
Yeah.
And that's when we talk about setting that different bar. It's still fast food technically, but they're still giving you more of like the sit down restaurant experience within.
Yes. Right.
So that's setting them outside of the Burger King and the McDonald's.
Yes, absolutely. Yes.
Excellence. And so that's what I hope, and I think we all were on the same page of that, understanding that it is important when we're branded society, and we're always building you up, because we want also you to see how we're building ourselves up, by building our brands. And your brand and your personal business is very important, and it has to tie into a certain level of excellence. And that excellence has nothing to do with so much the uniqueness. That they can't see the uniqueness if they can't see the excellence.
Right.
Like, you have to actually do the excellence first, and then it's like, oh yeah, I hear you. Oh yeah, I see you. But sometimes many businesses, they're failing because they aren't doing the excellence first. They may give you amazing prices, but if the excellence is lacking, you don't care about how you got it.
Yeah, if it's a dirty establishment, I'm not coming back. Like,
you ain't lying about that. Forget that.
Right. Many of the artists have been dragged. Lauryn Hill being one of them. Amazingly talented. I love the girl.
Yeah, Lauren is super talented.
But she can't get it there on time.
Yeah, she's not punctual.
And now that's starting to wear on people, because there's a certain level of excellence that if you don't bring that first, it starts to overshadow the talent.
Right. So I'm gonna walk through you another one. I love you, girl, but if you're phobic of certain things, we got to internally work on those things. And then, the fans, they have demands. They love your music. They want to hear certain things. I love you, girl, but I got to just say. So it goes the same way, as an artist, like, people want to hear certain songs. And if you have anxiety issues and things of that nature, after a while, no matter how much they love you, nobody wants to hear, oh, I can't do this song because I'm not feeling it today. Like me today, I'm not feeling it 100%, but I'm still here.
It's like people who get to a certain point and feel like they don't need the fans no more. And it's kind of like, that mindset can take you out, because these
Yes.
people are what build you. You mean a lot of
Yeah.
I heard a lot of artists, they get like, they make it to a certain point and they get so arrogant because they feel like,
Yeah.
well, I don't need you to buy my stuff. I can do this. It's like, fam, remember that humble approach when you was trying to get their services and money and win them over. And a lot of times people, they win you over and then they get lazy.
Yes.
This is so true. This is so true. This is just the perfect, this is our best episode yet to me, because everything is moving into exactly this moves into our last question.
Yes.
Okay.
Which is now, I think that I agree. We've all seen that with artists, even with businesses. It seems like they start almost like a relationship. How they got you, they stopped doing it. And so now it's like, it becomes, can you really keep me?
Right.
Because what you used to do,
right,
you ain't doing no more.
Right.
But the real question is, when you were doing what you were doing it, why were you doing it? Was it authentic? Because our last question is, how do you now, what is your non-negotiables in terms of personally? Because when you're building a brand and building a business, it's still you.
Right.
And I do think that when it comes to artists and even business people, we have a tendency to sometimes, because we all of us, no one's immune to it, I'll say. We all are looking to be put on to a certain extent. None of us, I don't like to front. I don't like to, or whatever the new lingo the kids are saying today.
Did you just say front and say that was new lingo? Okay.
So
cap, sis.
Cap. Super cap. Yes.
Who's capping? I thought capping's when
Ain't nobody over here.
Oh, don't do it.
You capping.
Ain't nobody over here, that's for sure. That means lying.
No.
When you're Capiana, cap artist, you're lying.
Capping crunch.
There's somebody called Capiana?
No. No.
Just
People say
about it.
You can't, like if I say, sis, that's cap. That means you lying. Whatever you're saying is a lie.
I thought that, see, now I don't understand why people would say it that way, because if you say it's cap, I would think it's like I'm putting a cap on something, like, boom, that's a period.
We just gonna move on. Like Leah said, we just gonna move on. So if I say you cap, be like, nah, fam, not me.
Oh, I would have been like, yeah.
Yo.
But that's because now I know. I didn't even know this existed until this moment. The moment I'm living in is I learned these new words.
Every day.
Every day I'm learning, and every day I'm growing. I'm growing taller.
That's timing.
But our last question is, when it comes to personally, what are your personal non-negotiables so that you have incorporated or are currently incorporating? And I think it's important for us to do this early on, because like we're talking about, there are many people that we all want to put on. We all want to be put on to a certain extent. We all want to get to a certain level of success. And sometimes we will go along, just like we do in relationships. Sometimes we will go along with the go along because we just are so hungry to get to a certain level. But once we get to the level, we realize we were living inauthentically. We didn't have enough non-negotiables. So I'm going to share some of mine from now, personal non-negotiables, just from living in the world and seeing how, honestly, some people go through this as artists, as businesses, where they start seeming like they flake out or they turn against their own consumer. But I think sometimes it's just that you're getting so used to getting to a certain level that you realize you compromised a lot. And you work that into your business plan. And you should have really, from the jump, said, I'm not going to do this. So for me personally, what is very important for me, extremely important for me, it's again been a practice of mine for over 10 years. Anyone who knows me knows, is that I start, even in relationships, it hasn't changed. I meditate. I'm the person who, I get up in the morning and I try to always, that is one of the first things. I pray and then I meditate. The only negotiable for that is the hours, the time I'll put in. If left to my own devices, I would do it for 2 hours, 3 hours, and I have. but I do try to keep it to at least an hour. If less, 30 minutes, but nothing less than that. So for me, a non-negotiable is that I don't want to be ever too busy. I don't care what's going on. That I am so busy that I am not able to start my day getting my mind in a certain position. That's just very important for me. That's how I live my life. And I think that's in some ways what saves my life is that I always give myself time to gather.
Yeah. Yes.
So I have worked that into my even building my business. I get up, as both of these two beautiful people know, I have the same alarm every day. I get up at 6:15 a.m.
Me too.
6:15 a.m. Doesn't matter if it's Sunday, Saturday, Monday, Tuesday, whatever. Doesn't matter if I'm on vacation. It does not matter. I always get up at that time. If my life is very busy, like I have to travel every once in a while, I actually will get up even earlier. And still, I have gotten up at like 5 a.m, and still I get my coffee, and I have to at least sit down for 10, 15, 20 minutes. And that's really depraving for me because I would perfectly like a 30 or more. But I'm saying that's because that's non-negotiable. And we many entrepreneurs, many artists have always complained about being overworked. They get to the point where they are so overworked. And we all know that success is a commitment of time. You do not get to success. That's a show in itself, but you do not get into success part-time.
No.
It is a full-time commitment, and you are meant to put in full-time hours. There's no such thing as, don't follow these infomercials talking about, make a whole bunch of money and 2 hours a week.
I can't stand those things right there.
Exactly. So that's one of my those are a personal that I am working into my business. Another one is, I will not go deep into it because it's something that will be rolled out literally probably 10 or more years from now. People will see it, but I do believe my business will be extremely successful and very lucrative. But I have made a personal commitment to the structure of my business being that it's all to be given away. Because I don't want to be about the dollar and needing to hold on to it at any means necessary. I've shared this with both Tiffany G and Bridget at different times, just in general, as the fact that money is one of those things that can become very controlling, especially when you get it. It's easy to talk about what you won't do when you don't got it. Very easy. But when you start seeing money it's a whole different world. I ask God also to help me, because as a personal non-negotiable, I am not working for any. So if you want to cancel me, I want to always be in the mental framework to walk away. If it all goes away, to walk away. And I actually have a step down plan in terms of how to incorporate employees into that, how to have a release, because people's lives are affected. And so I do take that into consideration, but I'm just bringing that as, just start thinking about, for some people, it may be having dinner every night or every weekend. For some people, it may be picking their kids up from school, but that's very important for you to start now, to have non-negotiables and then build your business around those personal things, as opposed to getting big and then being mad or having breakdowns because you gave too much. So that's mine. So now let's hear from you guys.
Tiffy G?
Making it fun, because when I curate for At Beauty, I don't want it to feel taxing. When I pick things, I like to share from things I tried and true, stand behind and love, and want to share that with you guys. Also being representative of all things beauty, all aspects of beauty, goth, classic, old school, vintage. Like, I want to have that aesthetic that's pleasing to a multitude of women and men, that beauty aspect, being that one-stop shop for them, or that place they can go to find the things that they're looking for to create their ideas of beauty.
Yes.
And being non-conforming to that, like you said, not being critical of myself, because building the website, it is time consuming. Adding products is time consuming. But like you said, I need those moments, I take those moments.
Yes.
It's never like, you have to do that sometimes because it can be overwhelming. And then sometimes if you're constantly working the machine and you're never taking breaks, for my workaholics out there, like you said, that could work against that can work against you health-wise in a number of ways. So it's always like, if it's going to be damaging to me, then I can take that day if that need be. And then, like we said, we pick it up, and we make sure we're at it again the next day.
Right.
So, but the main thing, the integral part is just, I want to be very representative of a multitude of beauty.
Yes.
Some places is very one-dimensional. You feel it's very like the trendy aesthetic. Like we said, it's like pop culture right now. So that's the thing we're going to do. No, I love my emos. I love my goths. I love all of the girls that do all of the looks. The drag community. I get heavily inspired by the drag community. So yeah, all things beauty. Be very true. I like the standard of beauty to be very true to even my name in itself. So.
Likewise, I just focus on.
I'm sorry, my son, guys. I'm so sorry. There's so much going on today. I'm just so sorry.
Yeah,
so if you're watching
I didn't even notice.
I'm sorry.
I didn't even hear nobody.
Yeah, I'm saying the look. I'm like, that's that.
I know.
Go away. But like, yeah, I just like focus on the same thing, just staying true to what I do. It's easy to. I've had to turn down a lot of opportunities because it wasn't in the right environment. It's a lot of things I had to be like, no, because it goes against completely what I stand for. And then in the hindsight, like you said, it's easy for somebody to be like, yo, I'll give you this. And I've also had people be like, yo, you want to turn this down? Like, bro, like that's just one of them things you just take it on the chin. And as well as this week, I'm glad you brought up health and things like that, because this week alone, I've been getting like a lot more engagements and different things going on. And so I've been having to change my schedule. And it's just like, yo, like you have to take care of yourself. Like, you know what I mean? Because sometimes you be like, yo, you got them days where you feel like you're ready to fall out and curl over. You know what I'm saying? Because you've been up for so long and you're sleeping minimal. But I love how, how Kimberly said it best too. Like one thing I do is meditate. I have to meditate. I have to. In fact, if you follow me on one of my Instagram pages, one of the things I do is Freedom Vibes Leogetta. I give a message. I take walks. I have to do that. Like that. It's like, I like to encourage people. So I feel like, let me share these moments with people. But that's one of the things I love to do. But quiet time, taking walks, I have to do it. It helps me. But it's just some things like you have to learn balance, and who you are is important. Like you said, what do you stand for? If I was like, yo, I want to be training, anything necessary to get out there, I would be everywhere. I would be in places where it's like, bro, you're not living by. Now when people would be like, yo, bro, you don't live by what you say. Look where you at. Look what you're doing. Anything for the money, anything to be seen, anything to grow and advance. You have to know your limits. It's important, because if not, when you talk about branding, you could taint your brand. You know what I mean? Even like you said, the people you be with, you start being around with people influencing you, talking to you, and then now you doing stuff in your brand that you know you wouldn't normally do because you listening to these people and they not bringing value. They actually devaluing your brand, making your brand go down. You know what I'm saying? So it's important to know your just knowing your yeses and your nos, and what do you truly stand for? Because you're right. I love how you said it will be tested sometimes. Like there are many moments where what you stand for will truly be tested.
This is very true. Well, I loved today's episode because I think we gave a lot of value to the audience, with really understanding I think it all comes into the nutshell of with non-negotiables is you have to be committed first to you, but being committed to you should be reflected in your brand, your business.
Yes.
And the certain level of excellence, don't waver on that. Don't waver on that to accommodate people, but also don't waver on that to accommodate even you.
Even you, right?
We have to be committed to the best of us to give a great business experience. Like Tiffy G mentioned, I love the fact that you sometimes are asked to sing the song that you're over singing, but that's you have to be committed to the excellence of that. That's a great song, and the customers love it, and they're expecting that.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what they paid for today. Now, if you want to do a new thing and let them be aware of that, that's different. But they paid for it.
Right. They're expecting to hear that song, girl. They're expecting to hear that song.
Right. Right.
That's what got you here. And that's sometimes what got you to the place. So it's like they feel like gypped. It's like, wait, but I was supporting you when you were selling Lust. Now you don't want to say that, girl? Like, I didn't even get my other re-up. Like, so yeah.
It's true. So I'm so excited about what's still ahead. You know, all of us, I think things are moving in a positive direction, and we're so happy to share that with everyone every week. That they're able to see that, you know, we're in this kind of with them, you know, in the sense that, you know, we're all, regardless if you're in a business or you're building a brand, you are your brand.
We all are on the grind. That's
yes.
right. The grind is real.
This is
so many things that, you know, and one element that you don't see, like when you hear, you know, KM Style, when you hear App Beauty, is like, we can talk about the subscription company, but we're not talking about the sourcing. We're not talking about the budget. We're not talking about the many in between dealing with web developers and this financial coach and this business standard practices, people that you got to stay up the code with, all the materials that if you got to go out to make this, make sure nobody's skin break out, make sure it stay right, make sure you're on top of your website, save this money, do this side hustle, be this parent. It is so much into this thing that is not even funny.
It is true.
It's a super grind, and then you have to wear many hats.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
So true.
Yeah.
So if you guys have anything else you like to add, I don't know, Tiffy, you want to add anything to the end us out? Because
no, Jetta said it perfectly. Just like we always say, be very true to you. That is the focal point. That is the start and middle, is be very truthful with yourself. Don't take on more than you can realistically handle, because a lot of us sometimes do that. And that can be damaging over time. And be connected, like I said, to soul. Be just like, it's really intuitive, guys. Y'all, you know, and you have to just trust it. You have to trust you, trust your judgment. Like we said, cancel out a lot of the distraction, and you'll be okay. And this is like life. This is not even particular to business. This is just life. Cancel out the noise, focus on you, and things will naturally, that are for you, will gravitate for you.
Thanks. Don't sell yourself short, and don't oversell yourself.
Amen.
I love it. Well, guys, until next week, we look forward to seeing you guys. You guys enjoyed this episode, and we will check you guys and check us. And you know what? We have new things every single week, and we want you to leave comments. We want you to share this. We want you to tell people about it. We are growing, even in this state, which I'm excited about. People are watching every week. Every week, I see the numbers increasing somehow.
I'm sorry to interrupt. Anybody who's purchased from App Beauty, please leave a review. Good, bad, or indifferent. That helps me develop, and you know, you really give y'all more quality on certain things. So please leave a review. Leave a review.
Yes, and listen, if you need some morning motivation for your life, go to @LidJettaVibes. Holla at your boy. Come get some of this good old inspiration. And I got some tunes out there too. You know what I mean? You'll find all that. Get you some of that spunk up in you. You know what I mean?
Hey, that sounds kind of crazy.
We gotta get spunk up in it. I was like, you know, any moves.
Okay.
We're gonna edit that part out.
We're trying to get sponsorship.
John, I know it's Friday, but we ain't doing it like that now.
Oh my God. Y'all two is crazy, man.
I'm sorry, it's me. I have a dirty mind, guys. Okay. We'll check y'all later.
Bye, guys.
On that
Bye,
note,
guys.
peace.